They're live as can be.
Live and in color.
Yes, I'm just
this Wednesday night.
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. And tonight we're doing another Native American myths and legends. And joined with me here is David Null, Hawkeye Two Feathers, as usual, who's got some great stories tonight. And while you're we're going to talk about the white buffalo tonight. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up some of this other stuff so that we could, yeah, there's the book. Anyway,
it's Wednesday.
Yeah, as Brian used to say, Wednesday. Yes, he did. Oh man, I remember those days. I tell you, I sure do miss that guy. Man, you know, I enjoyed his shows and I looked forward to him as much as possible. And it was great. It was great. You know, we had a lot of fun listening, and then I started joining in. I remember watching you and him on many a times, and you guys would just roll, and it was a good show. It really opened up my eyes about a lot of things. He could talk about anything. Gotta admit that. He was darn good.
There were many times when I was on, there were many times he'd go, I'm going to have a show Tuesday night. Okay. And it's our Tuesday night show. Okay. And, what are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know. The spirit will let us know. So he'd call me up or send me an email and I'd be thinking about it, and I swear to goodness, we would be so close so many times as to, well, what'd you think about the last couple of days? Well, what about this? And I'd go, yeah, I was kind of thinking along the same lines. Or he'd ask me and I'd say, well, let's talk about this. And he'd go, well, I've been thinking about it too many times, the synchronicity between us, which is something, most folks don't understand that we had. And I'm not trying to, be any better than anybody else, but I mean, it was just something that, I know that my connection with Brian was different because of these similarities and the topics. And, it was just weird, but great. Well, greetings and blessings, everybody out there, as Robert wanted me to start off the show. And I do always, every single day, well, a lot of people think I'm nuts, but I am. We won't go with that. But that I pray every single day that every single one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe, which is always there for you, and it's free of charge.
Absolutely free of charge. And that is something too. With the times that are coming up here ahead, people are going to be poor. And if you're not poor already, you're going to get poorer. I hate to say it, but you got to look at the free things in life. And, I'll tell you from experience, and then you got a lot more wisdom than I do. And I've been around a long time, and I can tell you one thing, that in the days when I was poor, I did more things, had more friends, had more fun than when I worked my ass off and had a lot of stuff. And I don't know what it is. And even now I make good money, and I have a few friends. I have quite a few things. I could say I have a couple really, really close friends. And other than that, my circle is diminished, and I don't have as much fun as I used to. I used to have a lot of fun all the time. Every day was an adventure of fun. Now it's an adventure of work. So to say the least is being poor isn't really all that bad. You just have to make the best of it. I never really went hungry. I mean, if I was hungry, somebody was always there with some food somehow, and there was food on the table. Some days it was just toast with some butter on it, but then you have to work hard to figure stuff out, and then the table is full again. It's amazing. How about you? Did you ever have any things like that?
Well, when I left home, I did. But I got to say that my dad was, well, most of you know, he was actually my uncle, but my pop's Arnie, and his birthday was on September 19th. So a belated happy birthday and honor to him. But he was a meat cutter. So we always had something, you know, and he worked in a, you know, for 20 odd years in the meat cutting business and that kind of thing. So we were lucky in that, you know, his job gave him, you know, he got the deals on the bread that was marked down. He got deals on this that was marked down, you know, and even with the meat department, he'd go, you know, there were certain days of the week he had to mark the meat down because it'd been in the case too long, whatever, and you had to remove it. So when it was time to take it out, he bought it and brought it home to us because it, you know, it was still good meat. So there were times where we would complain because we had steak too much. You know, so but when I left home, there are lots of times that there was hunger and I had to, you know, do crazy things to just get a meal. I mean, how many people today would literally work for 3 squares a day in a place to sleep? I mean, how many people would do that right now? I mean, you know, not too many.
Not too many.
Sort of like a hobo's life. But you know, the things that you did learn, you were so grateful when you had something.
Yep.
You know, and when you didn't, it was just like, okay, well, here's a dry spell or whatever, but you know, and then sometimes there'd be a, you know, a brand new ham sandwich in a garbage can to be sitting right on top, like somebody had just set it there. Not a bite, not a mark, perfect, and a cheeseburger at that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, exactly what you wanted. I know I had that too. It'd be like, you know, I want something, and then it would come to me, and that's the way it is. Yeah. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, tell me about the Buffalo. Well, wait a minute before we get going. Everybody's piling in.
Say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody.
Everybody. We got a whole house full tonight. Doug Stacks in the house. Witchy Moon 73. Deborah L. Smith. And we got the dog in the background calling out names too. Grandpa Brian's in the house, and we got Posey's in the house. She was just over at Nina's channel, and if you missed Nina's card readings today, it was really good. She read me a card that was awesome. Tells me I need a vacation. So guess what? I'm gonna go find a quiet spot and hike this weekend, get some quiet time. And we got Travis the Brick is in the house. Lucky Stone, Lucky. I am prospering and I am grateful, and we are all prospering together, and I am grateful for all of you, and together we will be prosperous and grateful. I don't know if I did that all right, but that's my little thing. I'm grateful and we're going to be prosperous. Jill Jarrett's in the house. Jill, I hope you like the soap. I finally sent out her soap. And we got John Little's in the house. We got Steve Slightly Slanted Sleuth who came in earlier, and Scotty Boy. All right. See, that's my radio announcer voice. And we got Alexander the Ganga Shama. Shaman. Yeah. I don't know. That screwed me up. Anyway, Paul Joe's in the house, and Delaney Pearl Jones, who resides from my home state of Wisconsin. And Quick Quid. Yeah, there, I said that one fast. Now, Quick Quid. It comes off the mouth. Say that 3 times really fast. And Susan Sashi, who's in the house, who's probably playing music and sitting on her porch. And that's a good thing. And Mary Wins just dropped in. Mary Wins. Be careful of the full moon tonight, Mary. Ladies with Mary tonight should be very careful. Stay safe. That's my advice to you.
I see a bad moon rising.
No. It's a good moon. We're going to go out and, we're going to do our moon ritual or whatever tonight. And there you go. So anyway, Oh, let's see what else we got. Okay. Mary Wynn says, hi, Hawkeye. And hi, Bob.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everybody.
And I call my hometown Delavan, the land of giants. Hey, that's pretty cool. I thought you lived over by Janesville somewhere. You know, they used to make cars down there. I never went as far. I never went to Janesville too much. I had a cousin that lived there. Delavan's kind of closer somewhere over there by that way. But anyway, maybe when I go to Wisconsin, Delaney, I'll swing on by and say hi. That would be really cool. Michelle Can-Am Free lives up that way too. So maybe it'll be a roundabout Wisconsin visiting Soul Tribe members, you know?
And anybody from Minnesota.
Minnesota is Steve, and Jules lives in Minnesota too. I did go visit and sit around the campfire with Steve, Slightly Slanted Sleuth. Oh, little John is I'm Giant. Yes, Giant. Hey, I've missed you having around. One of these days you got to come on the show again. My gosh, it would be really good to have you on. You know, we got you got a lot of wisdom, and I think we'd have a really great conversation. So send me an email and we'll get together. I know you've been busy just probably as much as I have, but I was on vacation. I kind of souped up some energy and I said to myself, we're going to go on. We're going to do a bunch of shows because I've been promising David Null to do a show for about, 3-4 weeks. And I got busy and I didn't. So this is my test to myself that I can do it. So this week we're hitting it hard. So we got tonight and then tomorrow I'm going to do just a nice little regular show. We're going to talk about some more of the books because we still got to go through this book here, The Unseen World. And on Saturday, we got Constance Vittoria Briggs, who's coming on, who wrote those books. And we're going to get to talk to her personally. So that will be a really great thing. And I hope y'all can join me Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. So now that I did my little thing, David, what do we got for the buffalo, white buffalo? Tell us the story. Is there a story? Do I need to, was it in the Myth and Legends? I need to look it up, or you got?
Yeah, but before we get to that one, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to start with, because there's a couple of versions. So, but anyway, let me start here with what seems to be like an easy explanation. It's the legend of the white buffalo. Now, this is from the Acta Lakota Museum and Cultural Center. Okay, now the reason I'm starting here is because it's the Lakota who's supposed to know the story. And if you hear it from somebody else, then, you know, you're repeating the story, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not quite the same story. But anyway, so I want to read a couple of different versions of it and let you know that, you know, some of this might just be absolutely made up by whoever's rewriting it. But anyway, the legend of the white buffalo. One summer a long time ago, the 7 sacred council fires of the Lakota Sioux came together and camped. The sun was strong and the people, they were starving there because there was no game. 2 young men went out to hunt. Along the way, 2 men met a beautiful young woman dressed in white. She floated as she walked. One man had bad desires for the woman and tried to touch her. But as he did this, the man was consumed by a huge cloud and turned into a pile of bones. The woman spoke to the second young man and told him, "Return to your people and tell them I am coming." This holy wanton, the woman brought a wrapped bundle to the people. She unwrapped the bundle, giving the people a sacred pipe and teaching them how to use it for prayer. With this holy pipe, she said, you will walk like a living prayer, she said. That's just an interesting statement. You will walk like a living prayer. Keep that in mind, y'all. But The woman told the Lakota about the value of the buffalo, the women, and the children. You are from Mother Earth, she told the women. What you are doing is as great as the warriors do. Before she left, she told the people she would return. As she walked away, she rolled over 4 times. Then she turned into a white female buffalo calf, hence the name White Buffalo Woman or White Buffalo Calf Woman. It is said after this important day, the Lakota honored their pipe and buffalo were plenty. Now, this is from John Lame Deer's telling in 1967. Many believe that the birth of the buffalo calf miracle in the United States on August the 20th, 1994, symbolizes the coming together of humanity into a oneness of heart, mind, and spirit. Now, that's from the Lakota themselves, the cultural center. Now, White Buffalo Woman in this other, I want to say, okay, let's just say it's a rendition. And what she brought to the people were the gift of the sacred pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is said in different ways that the Native peoples, not just Americans, but Native peoples had forgotten how to pray, and were just, you know, in a way they were kind of spiritually dumb. And I don't mean that, you know, nasty, but they just didn't know what to do. So, but here's the story. Another version. Before the appearance of the Buffalo Calf Woman, the Indian honored the Great Spirit. But for the Sioux, the coming of Buffalo Calf Woman brought a most important instrument, the pipe, which is now used in all ceremonies. The sacred pipe came into being many, many, many years ago. 2 men of the Sioux tribe. Now, see, if this was written by the Lakota, they wouldn't use the word Sioux. I just want to point that out. It would say Lakota, not Sioux. As the figure grew, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. 2 men of the Lakota tribe were hunting when they saw something approaching them in the distance. As the figure grew closer, they observed a maiden attired in white buckskin, carrying a bundle wrapped in buffalo hide. As she walked slowly toward them, she sang out and repeated, "Behold me, for in a sacred manner I am walking." Now, this is a side note for me. Notice she didn't say, "I'm sacred." She said, "Behold me, for in a sacred manner I am walking." One of the men had evil thoughts about this maiden and moved towards her. The other Lakota brave tried forcibly to restrain him, but the evil warrior pushed the good warrior away. Just then a cloud descended and engulfed the evil one. And when it lifted, his body was a skeleton being devoured by worms, symbolizing that one who lives in ignorance and has evil in their hearts may be destroyed by their own actions. The good warrior knelt in fear, trembling as the buckskin-clad maiden approached. She spoke to him, telling him to fear not and to return to his people and prepare them for her coming. The warrior did so, and the maiden appeared, walking among them in a sunwise, clockwise direction. She held forth her bundle and said, "In this bundle is a sacred pipe, which must always be treated in a holy way. No impure man or woman should ever see it. With this sacred pipe, you will send your voices to Wakantanka, the great spirit, creator of all, your father and grandfather. With this sacred pipe, you will walk upon the earth, which is your grandmother and your mother. All your steps should be holy." The bowl of the pipe is red stone, which represents the earth. A buffalo calf is carved in the stone facing the center and symbolizing the four-legged creatures who live as brothers among you. The stem is wood and represents all growing things. 12 feathers hang from the stem that fits the bowl, from the spotted eagle. These represent all the winged brothers who live among you. All these things are joined to you, who will smoke the pipe and send voices to Wakantanka, the Great Spirit. When you use this pipe to pray, you will pray for and with everything. They want me to repeat that. When you use this pipe to pray, you will pray for and with everything. The sacred pipe binds you to all your relatives, your grandfather and father, your grandmother and mother. The red stone represents the Mother Earth on which you live. The earth is red, and the two-leggeds who live upon it are also red. Wakantanka has given you a red road, a good and straight road to travel. And you must remember that all people who stand on this earth are sacred. That's a really good line. From this day, the sacred pipe will stand on the red earth, and you will send your voices to Wakantanka, the Great Spirit. There are 7 circles on the stone, which represent the 7 rites in which you will use this pipe. The buffalo calf woman then instructed the people to send messengers to the different bands of the Sioux Nation, to bring in the leaders, the medicine people, and the holy ones. When the people gathered, she instructed them in the sacred ceremonies. She told them of the first rite, the keeping of the soul. She told them that the remaining 6 rites would be revealed to them through visions. As she prepared to leave, she said, "Remember how sacred the pipe is, and treat it in a sacred manner, for it will be with you always. Remember also that in me are 4 ages," meaning the woman. "I shall leave you now, but shall look upon you in every age, and will return in the end." The Sioux begged the woman to stay among them. They promised to build a fine lodge and let her select a warrior to provide for her, but she declined their offer. "No," she said, "the Creator above, the Great Spirit, is happy with you. You, the grandchildren, you have listened well to my teachings. Now I must return to the spirit world." She walked some distance away from them and sat down. When she arose, she had become a white buffalo calf. She walked further, bowed to the 4 quarters of the universe, and then disappeared into the distance. Her sacred bundle was left with the people. To this day, a Sioux family, Lakota, keepers of the sacred bundle, still guard the bundle and its content on one of the Lakota reservations. Today, other ceremonies have supplanted some of the original 7 ceremonies taught by the buffalo calf woman. Now, I have to interject here. In reading some of these things, she said, "I give you this one, you'll learn the next." So this statement here, to me, doesn't jive with what she said, okay? So I hate to break into a story, but in this case, you know, she said, "I'll give you this lesson, but the rest you have to learn." And now they're saying that today other ceremonies have supplanted some of the original ceremonies taught by the buffalo calf woman. She actually only taught them one, just saying. To go on with the story though, the Sun Dance, Sweat Lodge, and Vision Quest are still major ceremonies that are widely practiced. The pipe ceremony itself is now used to open gatherings, meetings, and sweat lodges. The pipe ceremony is used in naming ceremonies, in which one is given an Earth or Indian name. It is also used in Indian marriage ceremonies. In times of religious persecution, the visible ceremonies had to go underground. Sweat lodges, which were common among most lodges and teepees in the early reservations days, started to disappear when Christian missionaries began to entrench their power with governmental authorities. The pipe was much easier to hide. Lakota spirituality also came to depend for its secret expression upon the pipe. Now that Native Americans have won back their religious freedom, the pipe ceremony remains established. Buffalo Woman told the Lakota where to find the sacred red stone to make the peace pipe. In the pipestone quarries in southwestern Minnesota, near the town of Pipestone, the Sioux and all the other Indian nations dug for their red stone in peace. They also traveled to and from the quarries in peace. No warfare was allowed. Peace councils were often held in this place. Mother Earth is now in grave danger. Why not turn to ceremony, at least to get the feeling, the message that Mother Earth must live? She is speaking to us quite strongly now than ever before. Let her speak also in ceremony. We can gain a special resolve by communicating within the ceremonies, by listening to nature through nature-based ceremonies. We can be like the Lakota. We can adapt, we can live, and our planet can survive. But with all the pollution in our streams, rivers, and oceans, we are at great odds. Now, the 7 sacred rites, traditional rites, are the keeping of the soul. The next is the sweat lodge ceremony or rite of purification. There's the vision quest. Then there is the Sundance ceremony, the Honkapi, making relatives, preparing a girl for womanhood, and throwing the ball, as this one particular reading has it. So, what do you think about that so far?
I think that's awesome. I learned a lot. I got a few questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so she brought the pipe. She said the pipe was sacred. She walked sacredly. Is that a walk, or is that, did they turn that into one of those, you know, I mean, is there that meaning that was like a ceremony walk? And then but she never did say anything like worship me or, you know, whatever. She said stuff like, and you were talking about something about the earth, and she says the earth is your grandmother and your mother all at the same time.
Which means it goes back beyond to great grandmothers and great grandmothers.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
it's
yes.
to all relations, which means, you know, anybody in the past, no matter how far back you go, it means everybody, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing. So generations, so yeah, I could get that. I mean, and then she gave him the pipe, knowing that in the future that was one of those things that they could keep with them. But you also said right in the beginning, and I don't mean to make you go back, but if you could catch that, you can catch that part where they said something about learning to communicate with the creator again, or something like that, wasn't it? Right. So what, you know, did they literally, you know, forgot how to talk to the creator, or they just forgot the ceremonies, or well, what's on your mind about that?
I think there was a period of time, you know, because there wasn't any kind of central government or anything like that. It was left up to tribes within areas. So you had a Cherokee and the Lakota and the Hopi. So within those territories, there were those beliefs.
Yeah.
And so those beliefs were shared because people traveled from different places, you know. And so when they traveled, they also carried the stories. They also carried the legends. So a Lakota person who was traveling east met somebody from the Cherokee Nation who went up to Minnesota to dig. Now, here's the thing. How did the Cherokee know to go dig in Minnesota? Yeah. They had to be taught and told. But in that though, so there must have been something about this woman, just her presence. And
Yes.
when it said that she walked towards them, but was not on the ground, you know, she walked. If you were to say, okay, I see Jesus coming, he's walking in a holy way. There's something
Ah,
holy in the way he walks.
yep.
She goes, so it's me, and I come walking in a holy way. So I'm not holy, but I'm walking with that spirit, you know, and I'm bringing it to you. So I'm not necessarily important. But I am
Yes.
the messenger.
The
I am the
messenger.
bringer, you know, so it ain't
Yep.
about me. But there was something about this woman that the 7 council fires said, yeah, let's all get together and listen to her. There's something different about this lady,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Now there are,
obviously they wanted her to stay, and she said no, and then they knew something was different in the end because she obviously turned into a buffalo.
and then in parts of the story, when she turned into the buffalo calf, she went over the hill, and as she disappeared, real buffalo, big buffalo, just came over the hill. So where there had been no game, now
Yeah.
there were all these buffalo around, and she taught them how to hunt the buffalo, how to use the buffalo. And in the stories and the cards about the buffalo, which I'm gonna pull a card at the end here, so for everybody, but it just seems to me that, you know, the buffalo is very important. It's docile. It doesn't, you know, eat anybody. It'll trample you if you get in its way, but you know, basically it's just out there grazing, you know.
Yep.
So to the native peoples, I think it's almost like they started taking nature for granted. Well, there will always be, you know, antelope. There will always be this. There will always be, you know, but they lost their connection with Great Spirit. So it's like they kept hunting, couldn't find anything, and so and they lost the ability to be able to ask Creator.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
they didn't know. So she brought that back, but it wasn't just because the pipe ceremony, which should be for another time maybe, but the pipe ceremony, in that when I was reading about this over the last few days, I wondered how they got tobacco out in the plains. Well, guess what? Their tobacco wasn't tobacco.
Oh,
It was made from the insides of bark of trees and certain plants, a little bit of sweetgrass, and the tobacco wasn't tobacco like we consider nowadays. And because I wondered that for a long time. So it was a special herbal mix that, you know, that was local and whatever,
yeah.
but and there had a couple variations of it, but the smoking, the ceremony itself is the same. And so with that, it is said that anyone who, you know, isn't worthy can't smoke the pipe, you know. So one of the things you see all the, you know, the cowboy movies where they're offering this pipe and they're going, oh, we're gonna smoke this thing. Now, if they really understood what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't just here, you smoke a piece of pipe and we be friends. No. No, it was more like it was probably a big honor, and they had to pay you a lot of respect in order to let you, you know, even members of the tribe to smoke that. That was probably like a big deal.
Right. And so they would, and they wouldn't even, you couldn't even look at it.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty serious. But anyway, so I got at least one more.
Yes, go on. Yes, that'd be really cool. I'm getting a lot out of this. I thought that was fascinating about the white buffalo. And if you guys haven't heard about that, David Politis on Missing 411 channel on YouTube, he filmed the white buffalo out in Montana somewhere, and then he told the story of the white buffalo calf and the white buffalo woman, whatever. So I had asked David to come on and do this, and you're doing a real good job because it's a lot more filled in information than he had. So awesome.
All right. So now here's another version. Okay. Not necessarily from any tribe or anything like that. It's just spiritual energy info. Okay. So this one, I was like, yeah, okay. According to one of the most popular versions of the legend, the white buffalo calf woman appeared to the Lakotas where Mother Earth was in turmoil. She taught the tribe sacred ceremonies, songs, and dances. She gave them the sacred pipe and told them about its symbolism. She said that a white buffalo calf would announce her returning to Earth, bringing peace and harmony to the people. Now, with that said, the thing in 1994, a lot of folks are going, something's up here. And whether you find it coincidental or coinky dinky or whatever, it is, you gotta say that, several have been born in the past decade, and a decade and a half is the Lakota legend, something spiritual, paranormal, myth, or a combination thereof. Now it says here, they're making this statement that several have been born in the past decade and a half. Now I haven't heard that. So right there, I just want to go, let me find out about that, because as far as I know, there's only one.
Oh, no, there's multiple. There's now, if I down the road here in Jamestown, which is about 200-300 miles away from me in North Dakota, they have in Jamestown, they have a buffalo preserve there where they got 20-30 buffalo, and they have two white buffalo.
Really?
I've seen them with my own eyes. And then there's that one in Montana, and I think there's one in Wisconsin somewhere. Remember,
wow.
there was one born in Wisconsin not a couple 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Well, that's good. That's good to know, in that there's multiple and it hasn't quit. The other side of it is, what's up with that?
Well,
I'm just saying, from the point of view that over a long period of time there weren't any, and now there's more than one. I'm just
I beg to differ on that, though. Because there may have been white buffalo back in the day. Just think, there's 1 million buffalo roaming the plains.
I agree with you.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but it hasn't been reported, is the only thing I mean.
Yeah. Well,
that's all I mean. I'm not saying they haven't been born. I'm just saying that was a big deal when the one in 94 was. That's all.
Well, the thing is who would you report it to?
Well, but there are a lot of people who recorded things back in the days in the Old West and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But my point is that it could have occurred, but in people doing this and that, it wasn't reported. And here's the thing: the Lakota people would have brought it up.
Oh yeah, and
so even in their stories, it wasn't brought up. In the older stories, it was brought up that it was possible the white calf would come back. So but I agree with you. Yeah, over the thousands of years, it probably. And did every Indian see every buffalo? No. So, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, because some of those places are so remote. And then when the white man came through and killed all the buffalo, if they seen a white buffalo, they wouldn't have thought twice about it. They've been like, hey, cool fur, I'm going to get good money for that.
Right.
And that would have been the end of it. Let's shoot a couple of them and be done. Hey, score for me. I mean, but that's kind of how it is. I mean, think of the guy who shot the last Tasmanian devil or tiger, the last Tasmanian tiger. It was eating his chicken, so he shot it. He didn't give a shit about if it was the last one or not. It was just eating his chickens. And of course, there's other things like the guy who ate the last dodo and put it in the pot, or you know what I mean? It's like, hey, well, these are cool birds. They're stupider than hell. But it's the last one. Should have not ate that one. But that's what it gets down to. They get down to the last few, or last passenger pigeons. They were down to, what, a dozen some guy had, and they took them to the zoo and nobody knew how to feed them, and they all died. What were they thinking?
Well, and that's like the ivy-billed woodpecker, which many of us have seen, we believe, ivy-bills down here in the South. And it was one of the last places that the ivy-billed was seen. And they were killed for their feathers, quite frankly. They were killed for their feathers. And, but anyway, but to that point, So let me jump over here to prophecy real quick.
Yep.
White buffalo calf woman is returned. When the white buffalo calf woman promised to return again, she made some prophecies at the time. One of those prophecies was that the birth of a white buffalo calf would be the sign that it would be near the time when she would return again, get this, to purify the world. What she meant by that was that she would bring back harmony again and balance spiritually. No matter what happens to miracle in the coming months and years, Joseph Chasing Horse says, the birth is a sign from the Great Spirit, and the ensuing age of harmony and balance it represents cannot be revoked. Now, that's just an interesting perspective, you know. So if this was, if there have been several more buffalo, white buffalo born, then obviously they're just do more white buffaloes take away from the meaning of the white buffalo calf woman? It's just, I'm just, you know, just as a whatever. Now let's go to the big brown book, okay? Any other questions or anything? Because
no.
Here's the last version, and it's in our legend. You know, it's in our book, and so
okay.
I thought, you know, those are sort of online things in places. Let's read what's in the book.
Okay, and I am pulling it up now. And
Page 47.
47, and I am on it. I got it all written down here.
Blessings to all of you out there listening with us tonight. We hope that our readings of these things and our discussions of these things will in some way help inspire you, whatever that is.
A little second here.
My hope is that everyone will learn to be more, you know, attuned to nature and
well, and that's the thing too, is this is history. I've been reading this book about you know, it's called Dead Man's Secrets, and it's talking about how, you know, history has so been wiped from us, and there's not much history left. I mean, we know about 1% of just the Roman history, and we think we know a lot. Right. And, you know, I mean, and they wiped all the rest of the history before them. The only thing that survives is the rocks. You know, if it ain't in rock, it ain't surviving.
That's right.
So there you go.
And all of the tribes and places and people that existed, and you know, that we'll never know about. I mean, honestly, you know.
Yeah.
This tribe moved over here or something. But anyway.
Exactly. Okay, I got it all pulled up. We're ready to go.
All right. The white buffalo woman. It's the Brule Sioux. And I'm going to read the introduction because sometimes it's important to read that part. But the Sioux are a warrior tribe. And one of their proverbs says, woman shall not walk before me. Yet white buffalo woman is the dominant figure of their most important legend. That's important to understand, see? The medicine man, Crow Dog, explains, this holy woman brought the sacred buffalo calf pipe to the Sioux. There could be no Indians without it. Before she came, people didn't know how to live. They knew nothing. The buffalo woman put her sacred mind into their minds. Now, you were asking that question. What was she, you know, why? The buffalo woman put her sacred mind into their minds. As the ritual of the sun dance, one woman, usually a mature and universally respected member of the tribe, is given the honor of representing Buffalo Woman. Though she first appeared to the Sioux in human form, White Buffalo Woman was also a buffalo, the Indians' brother, turn the page, who in flesh so that the people might live. Albino buffalo were sacred to all Plains tribe. A white buffalo hide was a sacred talisman, a possession beyond price. Now, to your point about more buffalo now, an albino buffalo were sacred to all Plains tribes. So that means there were more than one.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
exactly.
that statement right there.
Yep.
About a white buffalo hide was a sacred talisman. So now here's my thing. If it was sacred, did they go out and kill it?
Obviously they must have to get the
but now
hide.
could have died and they skinned it, but
yeah.
But to the point though. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying is if there's a million buffalo out there and they're not penned up, you're only going to see that one white buffalo. And then if you went and told everybody, you may never see it again. It might be like a vision or, I mean, if I'd seen it, it'd be like saying I seen an alien and coming back and saying I seen an alien. Yeah, everybody might believe me, but I can't go back and show you it's gone. So maybe that's why they, if they were herding them and they seen one, they killed it off and use it as a sacred symbol.
Or maybe they didn't want somebody else to see it. You know what I mean?
Well, that could be.
I mean, you know how that goes. Oh, there's a white buffalo. Crap, better kill it before people get the wrong idea,
Yeah, that's definitely true.
But anyway, but to the point though, that statement right there says that there were more than one.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that understanding, and like I said, it's important sometimes to read the forum, but that so the idea that in 94 this white buffalo appeared is assuming it's been thousands of years since it's been seen.
Yeah.
But through this own story, there are obviously white buffalo skins out there.
Yeah.
Over the whatever period of time. So that makes it to me like maybe not quite as holy, if you know what I mean. Now,
Yeah.
And I believe in these traditions and things, but if there are multiple of these things, popping up here and there, then the significance that they're trying to put on the white buffalo now seems a little pushed.
Well, it's kind of like
it's a good
yeah.
story. It's a good premise, but at the end of days is my point. Everything is the end of days. So let's push this narrative.
Absolutely. Well, but then again, it's all in the genes and stuff. It's like the white tiger, how did there get to be so many white tigers? And I read this up was somewhere along the line that they found these white couple, white tiger in Africa or wherever it is. And wherever India is where tiger is. Anyway, they brought these tigers back, and it just happened to be that they went out and collected all the white tigers, and then they started breeding the white tigers, which made more white tigers. Otherwise, in the wild, they were very, very rare. But if you got a dozen white tigers out of a million, and you collect them all and you start breeding them, now you got a whole bunch of white tigers. You see what I'm saying? They just all seem to have the right genes to make more white tigers, and therefore, so if a person got the white buffalo and they got all the white buffalo together and started breeding, there'd be a ton of white buffalo.
Right.
It'd just be genetics.
Right. But also to the point though, if it was so sacred, but there are, obviously other hides out there, then I'm just saying.
Yeah. Otherwise it's just random chance in the genes.
Right.
Somewhere.
Okay, so this is a rather long story, but it goes into much more detail than the other ones that I've read.
All right.
Some of it's going to be repetitious, but other parts is not. So, but anyway, so thank you all for, paying attention. One summer, so long ago that nobody knows how long, the 7 sacred council fires of the Lakota Oye, the nation, came together and they camped. The sun shone all the time. That's interesting. It shone all the time. There was no game and the people were starving. Every day they sent scouts to look for game, but the scouts found nothing. Among the bands assembled were the Itchapu, the without bows, who had their own camp circle under their chief, Standing Hollow Horn. Early one morning, the chief sent 2 of his young men to hunt for game. They went on foot because at that time the Sioux didn't yet have horses. They searched everywhere but could find nothing. Seeing a high hill, they decided to climb it in order to look over the whole country. Halfway up, they saw something coming toward them from far off, but the figure was floating instead of walking. From this, they knew that the person was a Wankan, that they were holy. At first, they could make out only a small moving speck, and had to squint to see that it was human form. But as it came nearer, they realized that it was a beautiful young woman, more beautiful than they had ever seen, with two round red dots of face paint on her cheeks. She wore a wonderful white buckskin outfit, tanned until it shone a long way in the sun. It was embroidered with sacred and marvelous designs of porcupine quill in radiant colors no ordinary woman could have made. This holy person, Wonkin, stranger, was the white buffalo woman. In her hand, she carried a large bundle and a fan of sage leaves. She wore her blue-black hair loose except for a strand at the far left, which was tied up with buffalo fur. Her eyes shone dark and sparkling with great power in them. The two young men looked at her open mouth. One was overawed, but the other desired her body and stretched his hand out to touch her. This woman was Lila Wonkin, very sacred and could not be treated with disrespect. Lightning instantly struck the brash young man and burned him up so that only a small heap of blackened bones was left. Or some say that he was suddenly covered by a cloud, and within it he was eaten up by snakes that left only his skeleton, just as a man can be eaten up by lust. To the other scout who behaved rightfully, the white buffalo woman said, "Good things I am bringing, something holy to your nation, a message I carry for your people from the Buffalo Nation. Go back to camp and tell the people to prepare for my arrival. Tell your chief to put up a medicine lodge with 24 poles. Let it be made holy for my coming." This young hunter returned to the camp. He told the chief he told the people what the sacred woman had commanded. The chief told the crier, and the crier went through the camp circle calling, "Someone sacred is coming. A holy woman approaches. Make all things ready for her." So the people put up the big medicine teepee and waited. After 4 days, they saw the white buffalo woman approaching, carrying her bundle before her. Her wonderful black buckskin dress shone from afar. The chief, standing hollow horn, invited her to enter the medicine lodge. She went in and circled the interior sunwise, meaning clockwise. The chief addressed her respectfully, saying, "Sister, we are glad you have come to instruct us." Now, isn't that an interesting way of introducing someone, or, giving them respect and honor? "Sister, we are glad you have come to instruct us." She told him what she wanted done. In the center of the teepee, they were to put up a sacred altar made of red earth with a buffalo skull and a 3-stick rack for a holy thing she was bringing. They did what she directed, and she traced a design with her finger on the smooth earth of the altar. She showed them how to do all this, then circled the lodge again, sunwise. Halting before the chief, she now opened up the bundle. The holy thing it contained was the sacred pipe. She held it out to the people and let them look at it. She was grasping the stem with her right hand and the bowl with her left, and thus the pipe has been held ever since. Again the chief spoke, saying, "Sister, we are glad. We have had no meat for some time. All we can give you is water." They dipped some sweet grass into a skin bag of water and gave it to her. And to this day, the people dip sweet grass or an eagle wing in water and sprinkle it on a person to be purified. The white buffalo woman showed the people how to use the pipe. She filled it with red willow bark tobacco. See, that's my point about tobacco is not necessarily tobacco, okay? But anyway, I can't pronounce the other names, so I'm just going with the English version. So, but red willow bark tobacco. She walked around the lodge 4 times after the manner of Amphetui, the great sun. This represented the circle without end, the sacred hoop, the road of life. The woman placed a dry buffalo chip on the fire and lit the pipe with it. That's interesting. This was the petaora, the fire without end, the flame to be passed on from generation to generation. She told them that the smoke rising from the bowl was the breath of Creator, the living breath of the great grandfather mystery. The white buffalo woman showed the people the right way to pray, the right words and the right gestures. She taught them how to sing the pipe-filling song and how to lift the pipe up to the sky towards grandfather and downwards towards grandmother earth, to Unki, to the 4 directions of the universe. And I just want to point this out. It's not the 4 directions of the planet. It's the 4 directions of the universe. With this holy pipe, she said, you will walk like a living prayer, with your feet resting upon the earth and the pipe stem reaching into the sky. Your body forms a living bridge between the sacred beneath and the sacred above. Wakantanka smiles upon us because now we are as one, earth, sky, all living things, the 2-legged, the 4-legged, the winged ones, the trees and the grasses. Together with the people, they are all related, one family. The pipe holds them all together. Look at this bowl, said the white buffalo woman. Its stone represents the buffalo, but also the flesh and blood of the red man. The buffalo represents the universe and the 4 directions, because he stands on 4 legs for the 4 ages of creation. The buffalo was put in the west by Wakantanka at the making of the world, to hold back the waters. Every year he loses 1 hair, and in every one of the 4 legs he loses a leg. The sacred hoop will end when all the hair and legs of the great buffalo are gone, and the water comes back to cover the earth. That's an interesting. The wooden stem of this pipe stands for all that grows on the earth. 12 feathers hanging from where the stem, the backbone, joins the bowl, the skull, are from the Wanbli Galeshka, the spotted eagle, the very sacred bird who is the great spirit's messenger, and for the wisest of all flying ones. You are joined to all things of the universe, for they all cry out to Great Spirit. Look at the bowl. Engraved in it are 7 circles of various sizes. They stand for the 7 sacred ceremonies you will practice with this pipe. And for the Achati Chakowin, the 7 sacred campfires of our Lakota nation. The white buffalo woman then spoke to the women, telling them that it was the work of their hands and the fruit of their bodies which kept the people alive. You are from Mother Earth, she told them. What you are doing is as great as what the warriors do. The white buffalo woman, and therefore the sacred pipe is also something that binds men and women together in a circle of love. It is the one holy object in the making of which both men and women have a hand. The men carve the bowl and make the stem. The women decorate it with bands of colored porcupine quills. When the man takes a wife, they both hold the pipe at the same time, and red trade cloth is wound around their hands, thus tying them together for life. The white buffalo woman had many things for her Lakota sisters. In her sacred womb bag, corn, washna, wild turnip. She taught them how to make the hearth fire. She filled a buffalo pouch with cold water and dropped a red hot stone into it. This way you shall cook the corn and the meat, she told them. So before they had pots and pans, they were cooking in a buffalo skin. The white buffalo woman also talked to the children because they have an understanding beyond their years. She told them that what their fathers and mothers did was for them, that their parents could remember being little once, and they, the children, would grow up to have little ones of their own. She told them, you are the coming generation. That's why you are the most important and precious ones. Someday you will hold this pipe and smoke it. Someday you will pray with it. She spoke once more to all the people. The pipe is alive. It is a red being showing you a red life and a red road. And this is the first ceremony for which you will use this pipe. You will use it to keep the soul of a dead person, because through it you can talk to Wankantaka, the great spirit, the great mystery spirit. The day a human dies is always a sacred day. The day when the soul is released to the great spirit is another. 4 women will become sacred on such a day. They will be the ones to cut the sacred tree for the sun dance. She told the Lakotas that they were the purest among the tribes, and for that reason, Tonkanashila also had bestowed upon them the holy pipe. They had been chosen to take care of it for all the Indian peoples on this turtle continent. She spoke one last time to Standing Hollowhorn, the chief, saying, remember, this pipe is very sacred. Respect it, and it will take you to the end of the road. The 4 ages of creation are in me. I am the 4 ages. I will come to see you in every generation cycle. I shall come back to you. The sacred woman then took leave from the people, saying, I shall see you again. The people saw her walking off in the same direction from which she had come, outlined against the red ball of the setting sun. As she went, she stopped and rolled over 4 times. The first time she turned into a black buffalo. The second, she turned into a brown one. The third time, she turned into a red one. And finally, the 4th time she rolled over, she turned into a white female buffalo calf. A white buffalo is the most sacred living thing you could ever encounter. The white buffalo woman disappeared over the horizon. Sometime she might come back. As soon as she had vanished, buffalo in great herds appeared, allowing themselves to be killed so that the people might survive. And from that day on, our relations to the buffalo furnished the people with everything they needed: meat for their food, skin for their clothes, and teepees and bones for their many tools.
Wow.
Now, that was told by Lame Deer at winter at the Rosebud Indian Reservation in South Dakota in 1967. So, but anyway, so how about that one?
Very
Now,
good.
The
Very
last
good. Thank you.
Went into a lot more detail, you know, which I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I waited till the end to, you know, to do that one kind of thing, you know, but
yeah. Yeah, that was a heck of a story. I didn't realize it was that long, but that was really good. I was glued to the screen, man. That was a very detailed. You know, gotta love it. Gotta love it. My gosh, you know, do we got one short story? Because we are on our hour already. Believe it or not. You got a short one?
Well, would you rather
more?
I pull a card?
Yeah, why don't you pull a card? We'll call it a night. Because it is getting
because
late.
it is. Yeah, we've been here an hour already.
It is a work night.
And I told you, I said I didn't know how long this was going to take, but
yep.
You know,
hey, it was well worth it. It was a great story, and I learned a lot. And if anybody out there, Nina, you know, you know more about this stuff. Looking Horse is the one who has the white buffalo pipe. Oh, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, Nina, if you got any information on that, let me know more. And I would love to know more about the pipe and how it's used and what they use it for today. So there you go.
Well, one of the things that if the pipe is used, it should be used in the traditional way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen some pipe ceremonies that, and after doing research, I'm going, they really cut that short. Now, here's the thing. If there are white people around, do you really want to tell them all your secrets? Do you really want to show them all the, all the particulars? Or do you just want to give a basic demonstration of we say our prayers, we hold it up, and this is what it is? So I can't really fault these folks for making pipe demonstrations when it's in front of a crowd. Now, if it was between 2 or 3 people, they would probably go into much more detail, just as an aside. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think according to what she says that pipe is a real deal. Says overall looking horse has the white buffalo pipe. So there you go. So it is, a real thing.
Yeah, it has been passed down. That is true. I read that part too. And there have been some people like, well, don't you want to sell that? Don't you want to, you know what I mean? Are you serious? But anyway, hopefully his next generation will be able to keep the pipe. It's held at the present. Let's all pray for that one,
Yes, exactly.
That it just isn't given up somehow. But in having been around pipe ceremonies, I have one, and it's made out of stone, but it's not made out of the red pipe stone. But I got a big slab of it upstairs, and that I keep threatening to make one, but I didn't feel actually qualified to have been really truly instructed in the ceremony. So the misuse of something is almost as bad as not doing it at all. You know what I mean? But I've always smoked my pipe with reverence and so forth in my ceremonies. I might not know exactly all the little intricacies of it and what they all mean, but my pipe has only had tobacco in it. It's only been smoked for ceremonies. It's only been used, so in that, my pipe is sacred, so.
Interesting. But yeah, that's the thing. And red willow bark.
There's several places. One is the one I read first. It's hang on, let me go to this other end. It's at the Lakota Museum Cultural Center. It's AKTAL Lakota at stjoe.org. But anyway, they've got some really good, the 7 sacred council fires, they explain it. They explain what the ceremonies are. So there are references within this website, and that's where I found out about that the tobacco was made of different things. And out on the plains, I always wondered, how'd they get tobacco over there? But anyway, so that's the explanation. So, and sweetgrass was very important, and sweetgrass in a lot of different ceremonies and stuff. So, if anybody doesn't have any sage or anything like that, look up what sweetgrass is, and there are several types of grasses that are similar to sweetgrass if you want to do a ceremony or something. Just want to pass that along too. So, remember, it's not a ritual, it's a ceremony. For folks who are used to Christian things and, we've got the last rites, a ritual of this. No, it's ceremonies. It's always about ceremonies. There was never anything about worship. You will worship me, you will pray to me. She didn't do any of that. She taught them how to talk to God, to Great Spirit. That was her message. That was what she did. She taught them because they were wayward children, if you will. Not necessarily bad, but they just wandered around and didn't really have a purpose, and she gave them purpose,
Yeah.
Strangely enough, it was kind of sort of in the form of a religion, but she taught them songs, she taught them prayers, and she taught them how to use the pipe. But the idea that the smoke from it connects to the Great Spirit while you're sitting on the ground, and the red pipe and the stem, which represent the earth and all living things through the stem, and then you sitting on the ground. I mean, you know, that's heavy duty. It ain't just sitting there smoking something. You're connecting yourself through the smoke and the prayers straight to the creator, you know, without any kind of anything in between. So in some of my talks and stuff, I was talking about porcupine and the fact that it came up and how, you know, porcupine quills are seen within the native tribe. So other folks just, what, porcupine? Yeah, there's several things. So I'm fixing to, everybody think I'm picking this card for the whole group, just as what's the message for tonight or today or whatever. So I got the cards and I've already shuffled them, and I've been, while I've been yakking, I've been, you know, fiddling through. So there was sort of a purpose for my yakking.
Okay.
Hopefully it was informative. Oh man. That's interesting. Now that's just interesting. Out of all these cards, I pulled the bear card.
The bear card.
The bear card. And I think it was upside down, but I got to read the write up first. It's number 5 in the book, by the way.
Okay.
Just there is introspection. So which is interesting, because I said, you know, let's see if the cards relate to what we've been talking about. So what does the white calf woman, buffalo woman thing mean to us? And how does it relate? And what about this? And so I pulled the bear card, and for me, the first word out of this is introspection. So I've just had an hour of, you know, beliefs and legends and so forth about this person and what she brought to the native peoples. And now the follow-up on this is introspection. So how do we understand this? We got to go inside and think about it. So anyway, let me read what Bear says. I find this too, sometimes it gets really creepy to me that there is this, holy crap. But anyway, Bear, invite me into the cave where silence surrounds the answers you gave. I got to do my double glasses thing here. The strength of bear medicine is the power of introspection. It lies in the West. Guess where buffalo came from? It said it came from the West. Interesting. I'm just saying. On the great medicine wheel of life, bear seeks honey, or the sweetness of truth, within the hollow of an old tree. In the winter, when the ice queen reigns and the face of death is upon the earth, bear enters the womb cave to hibernate, to digest the year's experience. It is said that our goals reside in the West also. Now, today also, happy equinox, everybody, by the way, and we are going into fall and then winter. So interesting that Bear is, you know, drawn on the equinox, and where we will, in a way, be heading into hibernation soon. Oh, what a cute puppy.
They're yapping a little bit. Gotta play with them. You keep reading.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Doing the entertainment. You're reading.
It is said that our goals reside in the West also. To accomplish the goals and dreams that we carry, the art of introspection is necessary. To become like Bear and enter the safety of the womb cave, we must attune ourselves to the energies of the eternal mother and receive nourishment from the placenta of the great void. The great void is the place where all solutions and answers live in harmony with the questions that fill our realities. The great void is the place where all solutions and answers live in harmony with the questions that fill our realities. That's an important sentence. If we choose to believe that there are many questions to life, we must also believe that the answer to those questions reside within us. Each and every being has the capacity to quiet the mind, enter the silence, and simply know. Many tribes have called this space of inner knowing the dream lodge, where the death of the illusion of physical reality overlays the expansiveness of eternity. It is in the dream lodge that our ancestors sit in council and advise us regarding alternative pathways that lead to our goals. This is the power of Bear, the female receptive energy that for centuries has allowed visionaries, mystics, and shamans to prophesy is contained in this very special bear energy. In India, the cave symbolizes the cave of Brahma. Brahma's cave is considered to be the pineal gland that sits in the center of the four lobes of the brain. If one were to imagine an overview of the head, the top of it would be a circle. The south would be the forehead, the north, the back of the skull. The west would be the right brain, and the east, the left brain. Bear is the west, the intuitive side, the right brain. To hibernate, Bear travels to the cave, which is the center of the four lobes where the pineal gland resides. In the cave, Bear seeks answers while he or she is dreaming or hibernating. Bear is then reborn in the spring, like the opening of spring flowers. For eons, all seekers of the dream time and of visions have walked the path of silence and calming the internal chatter, reaching the place of rites of passage, the channel or the pineal gland. From the cave of Bear, you will find the pathway to the dream lodge and the other levels of imagination or consciousness. In choosing Bear, the power of knowing, and as most folks know, every time I say accept and receive the knowledge and the healing and the wisdom from the universe, it's just knowing that it's there. So in this, whatever the white calf buffalo woman means to you, there's probably something there. But it'll be up to you to decide if it means anything to you. But you enter the silence and become acquainted with the dream lodge so that your goals may become concrete realities. Now, it did come in kind of sort of upside down. If you've drawn Bear reversed, your internal dialogue may have confused your perceptions of your true goals. In seeking answers or advice from others, you may have placed your own feelings and your own knowing aside. The time has come to regain your authority, for no one knows better than yourself what is proper and timely for your evolution. Don't let anybody else tell you what you're, reclaim the power of knowing. This is very important message, y'all. Find joy in the silence and richness of the mother's womb. Allow the thoughts of confusion to be laid to rest as clarity emerges from the west, nurturing your dreams as Earth Mother nourishes us all. Bear in the contrary position is teaching you that only through being your own advisor can you attain your own true goals. Anything less than the doing of that which gives you the most joy is denial. Let me say that again. Anything less than that, in other words, you achieving your own goals, which give you the most joy, it's denial. So you deny yourself what you really should have or need. Now, sometimes those things are a little lofty and you need to be down to earth, but to achieve happiness, you must know yourself. To know yourself is to know your body, your mind, and your spirit. Use your strengths to overcome your weaknesses and know that both are necessary in your evolution. Journey with Bear to the quietness of your cave and hibernate in silence. Dream your dreams and own them. Then in strength, you will be ready to discover the honey waiting in the tree of life. Now, a little something else about the white calf buffalo woman. There are women within the Lakota Nation and other tribes who have started, it's sort of like a women's organization, but I'm not strictly for, but they are promoting peace and harmony and connection with Mother Earth. And you know, if you're a woman, go out there and look out about this, because it, you know, for all these ladies in our chat room and so forth, you all are connected to the earth. This might be another way to get connected and to share even more connection with these other people who are literally sometimes praying all day long, you know, for us and Mother Earth. And, you know, but understand this, I've talked about this on my show, but this message about a Buffalo woman, to me, is that each one of us can walk in prayer every day.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't have to be at the end of the day. Your whole day is your prayer. And, you know, I've talked about monks and hermits and so forth. And in that, they are learning how to pray all day long and still do chores and stuff like that. And in my old age, I get it. So, but that your whole day can be a prayer if you just allow it to be. It's not a great big, you know, something you got to go to church for. You get up in the morning while you're shaving and brushing your teeth, and you think to yourself, today, whatever may come is my prayer for today is I'm just going to do the best I can and smile. And even in the face of adversity, I'm just going to say, yeah, okay. And, you know, that's your prayer. And you'd be surprised at the changes that will come about in your life when you accept that as just being simple, because all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I've been complicating things way too much, or so that, you know, or I've let fear strike in, and, you know, there's a lot of crap right now to scare the crap out of us. So, but the thing is, you know, now your dog's barking.
Yeah.
It's not as loud as Duggar. But anyway, thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you, Robert, for having me back.
Yes, it's been a really good night, and I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate the Buffalo, you know, the White Buffalo story. And thank you for everybody. I appreciate you all. Travis the Brick is heading to bed. Thank you everybody who stayed the whole time. David Castle's up and feeling better. He says Rufus and him are good. Witchy Moon, Scotty Boy, Posey, Delaney Curl Jones, Nina, thank you, Susan, Paul Joe, Jill Jarrett, everybody who stuck around, Joanne Dance Gypsy, Michelle Can-Am Free, Mary Wins. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate y'all. I am grateful for you all, and may prosperity rain down upon all the Soul Tribe, and may you all get everything you want and you need to make your day. And with that, I want to say thank you, David Null, and be the frequency you want to receive. I love you all, everyone.